Tigercast fans, the round 23 injury report is in, and we'll start off with Tom Sims. Obviously, we saw the incident in the VFL with the elbow. Geez, it looked nasty, and I actually think he's come away from it far better than what I reckon we all thought watching it live. I mean, just from watching it, we all sort of felt like it might have been some breakage, some really, really extensive damage, but the report says that obviously it's going to end his season, which is shit news in itself. But he sustained an ulnar collateral ligament, which is similar to what the MCL injury was that Jonty Fall had, but in the elbow. So he's done the elbow equivalent of what Jonty Fall has done to his knee. Thankfully, no surgery for Tom Sims, which is awesome, which is, I guess, the part we were all a bit more concerned about. And he'll be fine and ready to go for day one of pre-season, which is fantastic news for Sims and the club. Doesn't miss a step of pre-season. And yeah, that's that was best case scenario right there. So that's really, really good news for Sims, albeit we wish it didn't happen in the first place. Liam Fawcett and Hayes Brown, they are both test for this week. So there's a couple of guys they're happy to bring forward this week, the report says. Liam Fawcett and Ollie Hayes Brown, we are going to put them on test this week, and hopefully we can get some game time into them this week. That'll, of course, be at VFL level, which we have secured our wildcard/final spot for, which is great. But I think where and if possible, to integrate them before that all kicks off, I think would be a good thing just to get the rust out the way and get them back into the swing of things. I'm keeping everything crossed they both get through the test okay. History has shown that a few players have re-injured or gotten worse at the test side of things. So hopefully these two boys both pass with flying colours and they can play some VFL before all the big stuff kicks off. McKelty Lafau, 1 to 2 weeks with the calf. McKelty's doing really well now, and we suspect to see him ready to play in about 1 to 2 weeks, Serpil said. So he might get, I suppose the wild card in the finals is definitely on the card. It's just a matter of if they can slot in a game beforehand to get the cobwebs out. Campbell Gray, 1 to 2 weeks, and Samson Ryan, 1 to 2 weeks. Campbell Gray and Samson Ryan have progressed a fair bit this week, Serpil said. Happy to say that we can bring their return to play forward a little bit, 1 to 2 weeks. Hopefully we can get a bit more game time in for both by the end of the year. These are huge additions that are coming back to the VFL if they can all pass the relevant tests and get back out there. Samson Ryan almost in particular, and Hayes Brown, basically we need a ruckman. And the Hayes Brown test, just to go backwards a little bit, the Hayes Brown test is actually really, really good timing given that Sims is out. Because we are currently ruckmanless. I know it's not a word, but you know what I mean. Campbell Gray, he's obviously one that did re-injure last time as he got to testing to come back. So hopefully everything's healed as well as it should, and he can get through all the workload required, because he's going to be a super inclusion back into the VFL to help out Gibcus and Cozzy down back, Elnor and players like that. And Samson Ryan adds another dimension up forward and in the ruck, and it just sort of it restabilises everything within the side. Kane McAuliffe, quad, 2 to 4 weeks. He's going well, just standard really, so we're expecting him out, ready and available to play in 2 to 4 weeks. That one kind of feels like it's less of a chance to happen than to happen. I only say that because I feel like by the time he's ready to come back and play, he's missed quite a bit of football, and it's going to be right in the middle of finals type football, and they may not want to take the risk. They might want to take the risk, being that it's VFL and he's got obviously some really good qualities and traits that will find handy. But it'll be interesting to see what they do on that front with Kane McAuliffe. And Josh Smillie, quad, 3 to 6 weeks, as we learnt last week. The report says, as we reported last week, Josh Smillie came off the track a little bit sore a couple of weeks ago. Subsequent scans last week revealed a minor quad strain. It's not too serious, which is good. And we're hoping to see him out running around doing a little bit of training this afternoon. And we aren't ruling him out just yet that he can get a little bit of game time in VFL at the back end of the year. It's interesting. Look, I respect the hustle and the hope to get him out there to play some VFL football. I guess the question in my mind is it worth trying to push him that hard to scrape in a couple of late VFL games, or are we better off just wrapping him up in cotton wool and unleashing him next year? It's one of those ones where you say the club knows best. Whatever they decide, we're all going to obviously back. And look, we would all love to see him play football. So if he's legs cleared up and he's in the right conditioning and good to go, I'm sure we'd all be happy enough to see him running around in the VFL, hopefully causing some carnage. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that he wasn't written off just yet. Everyone else, though, is pretty much cooked for the season, which is, Sims, Fall, Dow, Lawler, Ralph Smith, Clark, Bauer, Kalina. So that's a reasonably sized chunk of players out for the season, albeit there's obviously only a couple of games left. So, yeah, we haven't got much room to play with there. But that is the injury report for round 23. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you reckon that any of these guys in particular, let's focus on Kane McAuliffe and Josh SMILLIE in particular, because they're probably at the latter end of the weeks required before they might be ready. Do we see a world in which either of them two will play? Would you be happy enough for them to come in to play wildcard / VFL finals football as their first game back? Keen to hear what everyone's thoughts are on that. Let us know in the comments below. And until next week, go Tigers.